Imagine waking up every day feeling drained, anxious, or unappreciated because of the people around you. What if I told you that the quality of your relationships could be the single most crucial factor in your pursuit of happiness and fulfillment? Today, we're going to dive deep into a topic that impacts every single one of us: knowing when it's time to cut ties with someone in your life. We often get caught up in the routine of our relationships, rarely stopping to consider their profound impact on our well-being. But think about it. How many times have you felt your heart sink because of someone's words or actions? How often do you find yourself questioning your worth because of how you're treated? This video is about recognizing those critical moments when walking away isn't just an option, it's a necessity for your peace and growth. We'll explore the wisdom of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that offers timeless advice on resilience, inner peace, and the importance of surrounding ourselves with people who respect and uplift us. Stoicism teaches us that it's not just about enduring life's hardships, but about understanding what truly benefits our inner tranquility and moral development. Today, we'll identify 12 clear signs that might indicate it's time to re-evaluate certain relationships, perhaps even to the extent of ending them. Whether you're dealing with a toxic friend, a draining family member, or a relationship that's more harm than good, this discussion will give you the tools and perspectives you need to make those tough decisions. We'll learn how to protect our most precious asset, our peace of mind, and ensure that each step we take is towards a happier, more fulfilling life. So, if you're ready to embark on this journey of self-discovery and empowerment, stay tuned. This video promises to offer not just insights, but actionable advice on transforming your approach to interpersonal connections. Let's dive in and explore how to cut ties with grace and find the courage to choose relationships that truly enrich our lives. And remember, if you find value in what we're discussing, please like, share, and subscribe to the channel, and make sure to watch the entire video without skipping any part to fully grasp these important insights. 1. Imagine this. You're at a dinner party, excited to share your latest achievements with friends. But every time you speak, someone cuts you off or dismisses your thoughts with a wave of their hand. It's frustrating, right? This kind of treatment, where basic courtesy is missing, slowly chips away at your dignity, like a sculptor taking a chisel to your self-esteem. Respect is the foundation of any healthy relationship, and without it, you're left feeling undervalued and hurt. Now think about how this plays out over time. When someone consistently disrespects you, it's not just a momentary irritation, it becomes a pattern that erodes your sense of self-worth. You start to question your own value, wondering if maybe you deserve this treatment. This constant disrespect isn't just unpleasant, it's a clear sign that the relationship is fundamentally out of sync with what it means to live a virtuous life. Respect is crucial for any meaningful connection because it aligns with virtues like wisdom, justice, and integrity. But let's break this down a bit more. When someone repeatedly treats you with disrespect, they're not only hurting your feelings, they're actively harming your well-being. It's like trying to grow a plant in toxic soil. No matter how much you water it, it just won't thrive. In a similar way, a relationship without respect stunts your growth, making it difficult for you to live according to your principles. You might find yourself constantly on edge, doubting your every move, and that's no way to live. Addressing this lack of respect isn't just about reacting to each instance of rudeness. It's about recognizing a harmful pattern and deciding to take steps to protect yourself. This is a proactive measure to safeguard your mental peace and moral integrity. It means setting boundaries, having honest conversations, and sometimes making the tough decision to walk away from the relationship altogether. It's about choosing to surround yourself with people who genuinely value and uplift you. Think about it. Every time you let disrespect slide, you're sending a message that it's okay to treat you poorly. Over time, this can lead to a significant toll on your mental health, leaving you feeling anxious, depressed, or just plain exhausted. By standing up for yourself and demanding the respect you deserve, you're not just protecting your own well-being, you're also setting a standard for how you expect to be treated in all areas of your life. But what's next? How do you know when someone's impact on your mental health is crossing the line from challenging to downright harmful? Stick around, because next, we're diving into how your mental well-being plays a crucial role in determining whether a relationship is worth keeping. We'll explore the signs that a relationship is draining you emotionally and what you can do about it. As you reflect on this, imagine the visuals. Respectful interactions contrasted with scenes of blatant disrespect, driving home the emotional toll such behavior takes. This sets the stage perfectly for our next discussion on mental health, where we'll dig deeper into the effects of toxic relationships and how to reclaim your peace and happiness. 2. Let's talk about mental health for a moment. Picture this. You're going about your day, trying to focus on work or enjoy time with friends, but there's this constant undercurrent of anxiety or stress gnawing at you. You can't shake it off, and deep down, you know it's because of someone in your life. Maybe it's a friend who constantly criticizes you, a partner who belittles your achievements, or a family member who always expects too much without giving anything in return. If someone's influence frequently leaves you feeling anxious, depressed, or stressed, it's a clear sign that the relationship might be causing more harm than good. Now, this isn't just about having a bad day or an occasional argument. We're talking about a consistent pattern where your emotional energy is constantly being drained. Stoicism, the ancient philosophy we're exploring, advises us to cultivate environments that contribute to our well-being. This means surrounding ourselves with people who support us, uplift us, and help us grow. But when a relationship consistently saps your energy, it can be like trying to swim with weights tied to your ankles. You're struggling just to keep your head above water. Reflecting on the impact of a relationship on your mental health isn't just about recognizing that you feel bad. It's about understanding why you feel that way and taking proactive steps to change it. Think of your mental health as a garden. To thrive, it needs the right conditions: sunlight, water, good soil. But if there's a constant storm or if the soil is poisoned, nothing can grow. Similarly, your mind needs a positive environment to flourish. When you're constantly feeling anxious or stressed because of someone's behavior, it's like that storm battering your garden. These negative emotions can accumulate, leading to burnout, depression, and a whole host of other issues. It's important to recognize these feelings and understand that they're valid. But more importantly, you need to take action. This might mean setting boundaries, having difficult conversations, or even distancing yourself from the person causing you harm. It's not about blaming the other person or feeling guilty for how you feel. It's about protecting your well-being. You have a right to a life filled with peace and happiness, and sometimes that means making tough decisions about who gets to be in your life. Stoicism teaches us that our well-being depends largely on our inner state rather than external circumstances. However, it also acknowledges that we have a duty to protect our inner peace from disruptive influences. So, how do you know when a relationship is crossing the line? Start by asking yourself some questions. Do you feel consistently anxious or stressed after interacting with this person? Do you dread their calls or texts? Are you losing sleep over their behavior? If the answer to these questions is yes, it's a clear sign that something needs to change. Taking action might mean setting boundaries and clearly communicating your needs. It could involve seeking support from friends, family, or a therapist to help you navigate the situation. And in some cases, it might mean making the hard decision to distance yourself from the person causing you harm. Remember, protecting your mental health is not about escaping discomfort. It's about actively choosing a path that supports your well-being and aligns with your values. But what comes next? How do you handle situations where your core values and those of the people around you are misaligned? Stick around, because in our next section, we'll explore how differences in fundamental beliefs can impact your relationships and what you can do when you find yourself in such situations. We'll delve into how to identify and address these misalignments, ensuring that your relationships help you grow rather than hold you back. As you ponder this, visualize scenes where someone is visibly distressed, juxtaposed with scenes of peace and contentment when they're surrounded by supportive people. This contrast will help you see the profound impact relationships have on your mental health, setting the stage for our next discussion on aligning values and fostering truly supportive connections. 3. Let's dive into the topic of misaligned values. Think about your core beliefs and values for a moment. These are the principles that guide you through life, shaping your decisions and actions. They're like your internal compass, always pointing you in the direction of what you believe is right and true. Now, imagine being close to someone whose values consistently clash with yours. It's like trying to navigate a ship with two competing compasses. It's confusing, frustrating, and ultimately unsustainable. Our core values might include things like honesty, kindness, loyalty, or respect. When you're in a relationship with someone whose values are fundamentally different, it can lead to significant internal conflicts. For instance, if you deeply value honesty, but someone close to you often bends the truth or outright lies, this discrepancy creates persistent tension. You might find yourself constantly questioning their motives, feeling betrayed, or even doubting your own principles. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of harmony and personal integrity. It teaches us that living in accordance with our values is crucial for maintaining inner peace. When our values are misaligned with those of someone close to us, it disrupts this harmony and challenges our integrity. It's like trying to fit a square peg into a round hole. It just doesn't work, no matter how much you try to force it. Addressing misaligned values involves having open and honest discussions. It means sitting down with the person and talking about what you each value most and why. These conversations can be difficult, but they're necessary for understanding each other's perspectives and finding common ground. For example, you might explain why honesty is so important to you and ask the other person to be more truthful. However, there are times when these discussions reveal that the gap between your values is too wide to bridge. It's a tough realization, but sometimes, despite your best efforts, you may find that the fundamental differences are too significant to overcome. In such cases, it might be necessary to reconsider the relationship's role in your life. This isn't about judging the other person as wrong or bad. It's about recognizing that not every relationship is conducive to your personal and ethical development. Think of it this way: if you're constantly compromising your values to maintain a relationship, you're not being true to yourself. Over time, this can lead to a loss of self-respect and inner conflict. You might start to feel disconnected from your own beliefs, leading to feelings of frustration and dissatisfaction. By addressing misaligned values, you're making a conscious decision to prioritize your integrity and well-being. Imagine a scenario where someone values personal growth and lifelong learning, while their partner prefers a more static, unchanging lifestyle. This difference can lead to ongoing frustration and disappointment. The person who values growth might feel held back, while the other might feel pressured or inadequate. This constant push and pull can strain the relationship, making it difficult for either person to feel truly happy and fulfilled. Addressing these differences involves more than just acknowledging them. It requires both parties to make an effort to understand and respect each other's values. Sometimes, this might mean making compromises or finding ways to support each other's goals. But if the differences are too fundamental, it might be healthier to part ways. Recognizing and addressing misaligned values is crucial for maintaining internal harmony and ensuring that your relationships support your journey towards living a virtuous and fulfilling life. This alignment is central to the Stoic goal of tranquility and ultimately happiness. But what happens when a relationship consistently drains your energy, leaving you feeling exhausted and depleted? Stay tuned, because next we'll delve into how to recognize and address relationships that act as an energy drain and what you can do to protect your vitality and well-being. As you think about this, visualize scenarios where someone's core values are repeatedly compromised, causing visible stress and unhappiness. Contrast this with scenes of harmonious relationships where values align, highlighting the peace and fulfillment that comes from shared principles. This sets the stage for our next discussion on identifying and managing relationships that drain your energy, helping you maintain a balanced and vibrant life. 4. Let's talk about energy drain. Imagine your energy levels as a battery. Throughout the day, interactions with people either charge you up or drain you. Healthy relationships should feel like a power boost, leaving you feeling revitalized and ready to take on the world. But what happens when a relationship consistently feels like it's sucking the life out of you? You know that sense of exhaustion, where even the thought of seeing or speaking to someone makes you feel tired. That's a major red flag. When interactions with someone leave you consistently drained, it's a clear sign that the relationship dynamics are misaligned with Stoic principles. Stoicism teaches us to live harmoniously and preserve our internal energy. If every conversation or encounter with a person feels like a struggle, leading to emotional fatigue or a sense of dread, it's time to take a closer look at what's happening. This constant energy drain suggests that the relationship is costing you more than it provides, and that's simply not sustainable. Think about the last time you felt truly energized after spending time with someone. Maybe it was a friend who made you laugh until your sides hurt, or a family member who listened to you without judgment. Those interactions fill your cup, making you feel more connected and alive. In contrast, relationships that leave you feeling empty or exhausted are like leaks in your battery, draining your energy reserves until you're running on fumes. Feeling constantly drained can manifest in various ways. You might notice that you're always tired, even after a full night's sleep, or that you dread upcoming interactions with this person. Your enthusiasm for things you used to enjoy might wane, and you could find yourself becoming more irritable or anxious. These symptoms are your body and mind's way of telling you that something is off. Managing draining interactions starts with evaluating why the relationship drains you. Is it because the person is always negative or demanding? Do they fail to reciprocate your efforts and support? Or perhaps they're constantly involved in drama, pulling you into their whirlwind of issues. Identifying the root cause is the first step in addressing the problem. Once you understand why the relationship is draining, you can take steps to address the issue. This might mean setting firmer boundaries to protect your energy. For example, limit the time you spend with this person, or steer conversations away from topics that you find particularly draining. Sometimes it involves having an honest conversation about how you feel and what you need from the relationship. Express your concerns calmly and clearly, focusing on how certain behaviors impact you. In some cases, despite your best efforts, the relationship might remain draining. At this point, it's crucial to consider whether the relationship is worth maintaining. Stoicism teaches us to prioritize our well-being and to remove ourselves from situations that consistently harm our peace and vitality. This doesn't mean you're giving up on the person, but rather that you're choosing to protect your energy and focus on relationships that enrich your life. Think of it this way: your energy is one of your most valuable resources. It fuels your ability to pursue your goals, enjoy your passions, and support others. Allowing someone to deplete your energy means you have less to give to the people and activities that truly matter. By recognizing and addressing relationships that drain you, you're making a conscious decision to prioritize your well-being and invest your energy where it's most valued and appreciated. But what comes next? How do you deal with relationships where manipulation plays a role, twisting your perception and sapping your strength? Stay tuned, because next, we'll explore how to recognize and address manipulation in relationships, ensuring you maintain clarity and control over your life. As you reflect on this, picture scenarios where someone is visibly exhausted after interacting with a draining person, contrasted with scenes of vibrant, joyful interactions that recharge them. This visual contrast underscores the importance of managing your energy wisely, setting the stage for our next discussion on identifying and combating manipulation in your relationships. 5. Now let's get into the tricky subject of manipulation. Have you ever felt like you're being controlled, but you can't quite put your finger on how it's happening? That's the insidious nature of manipulation. It distorts reality for the manipulator's benefit while leaving you second-guessing yourself. It's like being in a funhouse with distorted mirrors. No matter how hard you try to see things clearly, everything is warped. Manipulation can take many forms. It might be as blatant as someone lying to you, or as subtle as them guilt-tripping you into doing something you don't want to do. The goal for the manipulator is always the same: to control your behavior for their own benefit, often at your expense. This distortion of reality clouds your judgment and makes it difficult to live according to your values and principles. It pulls you away from living a reasoned and virtuous life, which is the core of Stoic philosophy. Stoicism teaches us the importance of seeing things as they truly are. It's about maintaining clarity of thought and not letting external influences distort our perception. When someone manipulates you, they are interfering with this clarity, making it harder for you to make decisions based on reason and virtue. Instead, you find yourself reacting to their manipulation, often in ways that compromise your integrity and peace of mind. Dealing with manipulation requires a multi-step approach. First, you need to recognize the manipulative behavior for what it is. This can be challenging because manipulators are often very skilled at hiding their tactics. They may use charm, flattery, or play the victim to get what they want. But once you start to see the patterns, like how they always seem to twist situations to make you feel guilty or obligated, you can begin to understand their game. Once you've identified the manipulation, the next step is setting clear boundaries. This is crucial for protecting yourself. Boundaries are your way of saying, "This is what I will and won't accept." For example, if someone tries to guilt-trip you into doing something, you can firmly state that you won't be swayed by guilt and make your decision based on what's best for you. This might be uncomfortable at first, especially if the manipulator is someone close to you, but it's essential for your mental and emotional well-being. Becoming vigilant about manipulative behavior is also important. This means staying alert to the signs of manipulation and being prepared to address them when they arise. It's like building a radar for unhealthy dynamics so you can spot and defuse them before they take a toll on you. Vigilance doesn't mean becoming paranoid or distrusting everyone. It's about being mindful and protecting your peace. Realigning yourself away from manipulative influences allows for clearer thinking and a more profound sense of peace. When you're not constantly being pulled in different directions by someone else's agenda, you can focus on what truly matters to you. Your decisions become your own, guided by your values and reason rather than someone else's manipulation. Consider this. Every time you succumb to manipulation, you're giving away a piece of your autonomy. You're letting someone else steer your life, often in directions that don't serve your best interests. By setting boundaries and staying vigilant, you reclaim your power and align your life with your true self. But what about relationships where trust is lacking? How can you navigate the murky waters of trust issues and rebuild or move on? Stay tuned, because next we'll explore the critical role of trust in relationships and how to handle situations where trust has been broken. As you think about this, visualize scenarios where someone recognizes manipulative behavior and takes a stand, setting clear boundaries and reclaiming their peace. Contrast this with scenes of confusion and distress caused by manipulation, highlighting the importance of maintaining clarity and control over your life. This sets the stage for our next discussion on trust, helping you navigate relationships with confidence and integrity. 6. Let's dive into the importance of trust in relationships. Trust is like the bedrock of any relationship. It's what everything else is built on. Imagine trying to build a house on a shaky foundation. No matter how beautiful the house is, it's bound to collapse eventually. Without trust, relationships are unstable, filled with doubts, insecurities, and constant second-guessing. You find yourself wondering if you can rely on the other person, if they're being honest with you, or if they have your best interests at heart. This constant uncertainty can be exhausting and damaging. Stoicism teaches us the importance of being dependable and truthful, both to ourselves and to others. These virtues are essential for building and maintaining trust. When someone keeps their word, acts consistently, and communicates openly, it creates a sense of security and reliability. But when these values are not upheld, trust starts to erode. Maybe it's a friend who constantly cancels plans at the last minute, a partner who's caught in lies, or a colleague who takes credit for your work. These actions create cracks in the foundation of your relationship. Addressing a lack of trust begins with honest self-assessment. Reflect on your own actions and ask yourself if you've contributed to the trust issues. Have you been as reliable and truthful as you could be? Self-awareness is the first step in mending trust because it allows you to understand your role in the dynamic. Once you've assessed your behavior, it's time for open dialogue. This means having honest conversations where you express your feelings and concerns without accusing or blaming the other person. It's about communicating how their actions have affected you and what you need to rebuild trust. However, trust issues don't always stem from both sides. Sometimes the breach of trust is one-sided, and in these cases, it requires initiating difficult conversations. For instance, if your partner has been unfaithful, it's crucial to discuss what happened, why it happened, and how you both can move forward. These conversations are tough but necessary for healing and rebuilding trust. They require vulnerability and a willingness to listen and understand each other's perspectives. If trust issues are insurmountable, taking decisive action might be necessary. This could mean setting new boundaries, seeking counseling, or in some cases, ending the relationship. It's a hard truth, but not all relationships can be saved, and sometimes the best way to protect your well-being is to walk away. This doesn't mean you've failed. It means you're prioritizing your peace and integrity. Consider this. When trust is broken, it's like having a constant storm cloud over your relationship. Everything becomes overshadowed by doubt and suspicion, making it hard to enjoy the positive aspects. By addressing trust issues head-on, you're not only working towards a healthier relationship, but also fostering a sense of clarity and peace for yourself. Think about how different your life would feel if you knew you could completely rely on the people around you. Imagine the relief of not having to second-guess their words or actions. Trust allows for deeper connections and a more fulfilling life, because it frees you from the burden of doubt and fear. But what about those situations where you're dealing with outright abuse, which goes beyond trust issues and enters into serious harm? Stay tuned, because next we'll discuss recognizing and addressing abuse in relationships, ensuring your safety and well-being. As you ponder this, visualize scenarios where trust is rebuilt through honest conversations and actions, contrasted with scenes of relationships crumbling under the weight of mistrust. This will highlight the crucial role trust plays in our lives, setting the stage for our next discussion on addressing and overcoming abuse in relationships. 7. Let's tackle a very serious and important topic: abuse. Abuse in any form, whether it's physical, emotional, verbal, or psychological, undermines the essence of a virtuous and meaningful life. It's like a poison that slowly seeps into every aspect of your being, damaging your self-esteem, your mental health, and your overall sense of well-being. Stoicism teaches us the importance of preserving our self-respect and well-being above all else. When you're in an abusive relationship, these vital aspects of your life are constantly under attack. Recognizing abuse is the first crucial step. It's not always easy, especially if you've been enduring it for a long time, or if the abuser is someone you love or depend on. Abuse can be insidious, starting off subtly and then escalating over time. It might begin with small, hurtful comments that chip away at your confidence, or with controlling behaviors that limit your freedom. Over time, these actions can become more severe, leading to significant emotional or physical harm. It's essential to understand that no form of abuse is acceptable, and no one deserves to be treated this way. Addressing abuse is critical for maintaining your mental health and dignity. Stoicism emphasizes the importance of distancing yourself from sources of harm to protect your inner peace. This isn't about running away from problems or avoiding difficult situations. It's about making a rational decision to remove yourself from harmful environments that threaten your well-being. Think of it as a form of self-defense. You're safeguarding your mental and emotional health by creating a safe space for yourself. One of the core teachings of Stoicism is to see things as they truly are. This means recognizing abuse for what it is and not downplaying or rationalizing it. It's easy to make excuses for the abuser, especially if you care about them or if they've convinced you that the abuse is your fault. But accepting the reality of the situation is a powerful first step towards reclaiming your life and your peace of mind. Once you've acknowledged the abuse, the next step is to take action. This might mean reaching out for help from trusted friends, family members, or professionals like counselors and therapists. It could also involve contacting support organizations that specialize in helping individuals escape abusive situations. Remember, you don't have to go through this alone. There are resources and people who can help you navigate the path to safety and healing. Setting boundaries is another crucial aspect of addressing abuse. This involves clearly communicating what you will and will not tolerate in your relationships. It might mean limiting contact with the abuser or, in some cases, cutting off all communication entirely. These boundaries are essential for protecting yourself and beginning the healing process. In some cases, taking decisive action might involve legal measures, such as obtaining restraining orders or seeking custody changes if children are involved. These steps can be daunting, but they are necessary for ensuring your safety and the safety of any dependents. The law is there to protect you, and utilizing it is a valid and important part of standing up for your rights. It's also important to remember that leaving an abusive relationship is a process, not a single event. It takes time, courage, and support. There may be setbacks and challenges along the way, but each step you take towards safety and self-respect is a victory. Stoicism teaches us the importance of resilience and perseverance, qualities that are invaluable as you navigate this difficult journey. But what happens when a relationship lacks growth and support, even if it isn't outright abusive? How do you handle situations where there's no abuse, but the relationship still feels stagnant and unfulfilling? Stay tuned, because next, we'll explore how to recognize and address relationships that don't contribute to your personal growth and well-being. As you reflect on this, visualize scenarios where individuals recognize abuse and take steps to protect themselves, contrasted with scenes of suffering in silence. This highlights the importance of taking action to ensure safety and well-being, setting the stage for our next discussion on fostering growth and support in your relationships. 8.
Let's talk about the vital step of seeking help when facing abuse. It's not easy to acknowledge that you're in an abusive situation, but recognizing the need for help is a powerful and courageous step. If you're facing any form of abuse, physical, emotional, verbal, or psychological, it's crucial to protect yourself and seek assistance. Remember, you are not alone, and reaching out for help is not a sign of weakness, but a profound act of strength and self-respect.
Stoicism teaches us the importance of acting wisely and courageously in the face of wrongful treatment. This philosophy emphasizes the need to uphold our dignity and well-being, even when circumstances are challenging. When dealing with abuse, this wisdom translates into taking decisive actions to safeguard yourself. It means understanding that your safety and mental health are paramount, and that you deserve to live a life free from harm and fear.
Reaching out to trusted friends or family members is often a good starting point. These are the people who care about you and want to see you safe and happy. Sharing your experiences with them can provide emotional support and practical advice. They can help you see the situation more clearly and offer a different perspective that you might not have considered. Sometimes, just talking about what you're going through can be incredibly relieving and can help you start planning your next steps. If you feel uncomfortable or unsafe discussing your situation with friends or family, consider seeking help from professionals. Therapists and counselors are trained to handle these situations and can provide a safe, confidential space to talk about your experiences. They can help you understand your feelings, develop coping strategies, and create a plan to improve your situation. Additionally, many communities have organizations dedicated to helping individuals escape abusive situations. These organizations can offer resources such as hotlines, shelters, legal assistance, and more. It's also essential to understand the legal options available to you. Depending on the severity and nature of the abuse, there may be legal measures you can take to protect yourself. This might include obtaining a restraining order, pressing charges, or seeking custody changes if children are involved. Consulting with a legal professional can help you understand your rights and the steps you can take to ensure your safety. Seeking help isn't just about immediate safety, it's also about long-term healing and growth. Stoicism teaches that life is a journey of continuous improvement and self-discovery. By seeking help, you're not only addressing the immediate danger, but also laying the groundwork for a healthier, more fulfilling future. It's about taking control of your life and making choices that align with your values and your desire for a virtuous life. Remember, asking for help is a sign of courage and wisdom. It takes immense strength to admit that you need support and to take steps towards getting it. You're not just surviving, You're taking proactive measures to improve your life and protect your well-being. But what if the relationship isn't abusive, yet it still feels stagnant and unfulfilling? How do you navigate relationships that don't support your growth and well-being? Stay tuned, because next we'll explore how to recognize and address relationships that lack growth and support, ensuring that your connections contribute positively to your life. As you reflect on this, visualize scenes where individuals reach out for help and find support, contrasted with the isolation of dealing with abuse alone. This emphasizes the importance of seeking assistance and highlights the strength required to take this crucial step, setting the stage for our next discussion on fostering growth and support in your relationships. 9. Now let's discuss the concept of growth and support in relationships. Picture this: you're striving to improve yourself, learn new things, and pursue your passions. You're on a journey of personal growth, but the people around you seem to be stuck in place, uninterested in growing or supporting your progress. It's like trying to run a race while being tethered to a heavy weight. Relationships should challenge and support us in becoming better human beings, pushing us towards our goals and helping us navigate life's complexities. When a relationship lacks growth or mutual support, it contradicts the ideals of Stoicism, which values continuous improvement and personal development. Stoicism encourages us to strive for excellence and wisdom, and to seek out relationships that help us achieve these goals. When the people in our lives don't support our growth, it can feel incredibly frustrating, like being anchored in place while the world moves forward around us. You might find yourself feeling stuck, unfulfilled, and even resentful. Addressing the absence of growth and support in a relationship involves having open, honest conversations about your needs and expectations. This means sitting down with the person and discussing how you feel, what you need to feel supported, and how you both can work together to foster a more dynamic and supportive relationship. It's about creating a partnership where both individuals are committed to helping each other grow and thrive. For example, you might express your desire for more encouragement or understanding regarding your goals and aspirations. These conversations can be challenging, especially if the other person is resistant to change or doesn't see the need for growth. It's essential to approach these discussions with empathy and a willingness to listen, as well as to express your own needs clearly. Sometimes people aren't aware of how their actions, or lack thereof, affect you, and a heartfelt conversation can make a significant difference. However, if after these discussions the relationship still lacks the necessary support and growth, it might be time to reconsider its role in your life. This isn't an easy decision, especially if the person is someone you care about deeply. But it's important to recognize that personal development and well-being should be a priority. Staying in a stagnant relationship can hold you back, preventing you from reaching your full potential. Think of it this way: relationships are like plants. They need attention, care, and the right conditions to grow. If you're in an environment where your growth is stunted, it's like a plant trying to thrive in poor soil. Sometimes you need to transplant yourself into a more nourishing environment to flourish. Reconsidering a relationship's role in your life doesn't necessarily mean ending it abruptly. It might involve redefining the relationship, setting new boundaries, or shifting your focus towards relationships that are more supportive and growth-oriented. It's about making intentional choices that align with your values and aspirations, ensuring that your connections contribute positively to your life. Imagine how different your life could be if all your relationships were supportive and encouraging, if every person in your circle helped you grow and become the best version of yourself. This is the ideal we should strive for: a network of relationships that challenge us, support us, and celebrate our successes. But what if a relationship is not just stagnant, but is marked by persistent selfishness, where one person's needs and desires always come first. Stay tuned, because next we'll explore how to recognize and address relationships tainted by selfishness and how to foster mutual respect and reciprocity. As you reflect on this, picture scenes where individuals thrive in supportive relationships, contrasted with those feeling stuck and unfulfilled in stagnant ones. This visual contrast will emphasize the importance of growth and support in relationships, setting the stage for our next discussion on addressing persistent selfishness. 10. Now let's talk about the issue of persistent selfishness in relationships. Imagine being in a relationship where you constantly feel like you're giving more than you're getting. Every interaction seems to revolve around the other person's needs, desires, and schedule, leaving little room for your own. Over time, this imbalance can become exhausting and demoralizing. Persistent selfish behavior undermines the very integrity of a relationship, making it one-sided and unsustainable. Stoicism values balance and self-control, and these principles are essential for any healthy relationship. A relationship should be a dynamic exchange of support and benefit, where both parties feel valued and respected. When one person consistently prioritizes their own needs over those of the other, it disrupts this balance and creates a breeding ground for resentment and dissatisfaction. It's like trying to paddle a canoe with only one oar. You end up going in circles and never make real progress. Addressing selfish behavior requires honest reflection and communication. First, you need to reflect on the dynamics of the relationship and your own actions. Are you enabling this selfish behavior by constantly accommodating the other person? Have you clearly communicated your own needs and boundaries? Self-awareness is key to understanding the role you play in the relationship dynamic. Once you've reflected on the situation, it's time for an honest conversation with the person involved. This can be challenging, especially if the selfish behavior has been a long-standing pattern. Approach the discussion with empathy and a focus on how the behavior affects you. For example, you might say, "I've noticed that our plans often revolve around your schedule, and I feel like my needs are not being considered. Can we find a way to balance things better?" This approach helps to avoid accusations and instead opens a dialogue for change. However, if despite your efforts the selfish behavior persists, Stoicism advocates for recognizing when to distance oneself from unvirtuous relationships. This doesn't mean you have to cut ties immediately, but rather start setting firmer boundaries and gradually limiting your involvement. It's about protecting your own well-being and ensuring that your relationships reflect mutual respect and support. Think of it this way: a healthy relationship should be like a well-tended garden, where both individuals contribute to nurturing and maintaining it. If one person is always taking and never giving, the garden will eventually wither. By addressing persistent selfishness, you're not only advocating for your own needs, but also encouraging a more balanced and fulfilling relationship. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, the other person may be unwilling or unable to change. In such cases, it's important to recognize that maintaining a relationship where selfishness is a constant issue can be detrimental to your mental and emotional health. Distancing yourself from such relationships allows you to focus on connections that are more reciprocal and enriching. Imagine how liberating it would feel to be free from the constant burden of someone else's selfish demands. Picture a life where your relationships are balanced, where your needs are met, and where there is mutual respect and support. This is what Stoicism encourages us to strive for: relationships that contribute to our growth and well-being, rather than drain us. But what if the issues in your relationship go beyond selfishness and into the realm of negative communication patterns? How do you handle situations where criticism, sarcasm, and belittling have become the norm? Stay tuned, because next we'll delve into how to recognize and address negative communication in relationships, ensuring that your interactions are positive and constructive. As you think about this, visualize scenarios where one person is persistently selfish, contrasted with scenes of balanced, reciprocal relationships. This visual contrast highlights the importance of mutual respect and support, setting the stage for our next discussion on transforming negative communication patterns. 11. Let's explore the impact of negative communication on relationships. Think about a time when someone's words cut you deeply, leaving you feeling small, unappreciated, or misunderstood. Maybe it was a harsh criticism, a sarcastic remark, or a belittling comment. Communication should be honest, constructive, and uplifting, but persistent negative patterns can slowly erode the very foundation of respect and understanding in a relationship. When communication becomes consistently negative, it's like a poison that seeps into every interaction, making it difficult to maintain a healthy connection. Negative patterns such as criticism, sarcasm, and belittling not only hurt in the moment, but also create a lasting impact, fostering resentment and mistrust. Over time, these negative interactions can make you feel like you're walking on eggshells, always anticipating the next hurtful comment. Stoicism teaches us the importance of controlling our reactions and choosing our words wisely. It emphasizes the power of rational thought and emotional regulation in maintaining harmony and respect in our interactions. When faced with negative communication, it's essential to pause, reflect, and respond thoughtfully rather than react impulsively. This approach can help de-escalate conflicts and promote more constructive dialogues. Transforming destructive communication patterns involves setting specific goals for how you interact with others. Start by identifying the negative behaviors that are most harmful. Are there certain triggers that lead to these negative exchanges? Once you've pinpointed the issues, set clear, achievable goals for improving your communication. For instance, you might decide to replace criticism with constructive feedback, or to practice responding calmly instead of with sarcasm. Practicing active listening is another crucial step. Active listening means fully concentrating on what the other person is saying, understanding their message, responding thoughtfully, and remembering what was said. This practice helps to foster empathy and understanding, reducing the likelihood of negative interactions. When you listen actively, you validate the other person's feelings and show that you value their perspective, which can significantly improve the quality of your communication. Sometimes, despite your best efforts, transforming negative communication on your own can be challenging. In such cases, seeking external help can be incredibly beneficial. This might involve couples therapy, communication workshops, or other professional support. A therapist or counselor can provide tools and techniques for improving communication, helping you to break free from destructive patterns and build healthier interactions. However, if negative communication remains unyielding despite these efforts, it might be necessary to reconsider the relationship. Continuous exposure to criticism, sarcasm, and belittling can take a severe toll on your mental and emotional health. Stoicism teaches us to prioritize our well-being and to distance ourselves from sources of harm. This isn't about giving up on the relationship at the first sign of trouble. It's about recognizing when the cost to your self-respect and peace of mind is too high. Imagine the relief of moving away from a relationship marred by constant negativity to one where communication is positive, supportive, and respectful. Picture how different your interactions would feel if they were rooted in mutual understanding and kindness. This is the ideal we should strive for in our relationships. A space where words heal and uplift rather than hurt and diminish. But what about when someone consistently ignores your personal needs and boundaries, making you feel insignificant and undervalued? Stay tuned, because next we'll delve into how to handle situations where your personal needs and boundaries are disregarded, ensuring that your relationships respect and honor who you are. As you reflect on this, visualize scenarios where negative communication patterns are transformed into positive, constructive interactions. Contrast this with scenes of ongoing negativity and its detrimental effects. This visual contrast will emphasize the importance of healthy communication, setting the stage for our next discussion on respecting personal needs and boundaries in relationships. 12. Let's discuss the importance of personal needs and boundaries in relationships. Imagine you're always putting others' needs before your own, constantly bending to accommodate their wishes and rarely having your own needs met. Over time, this can lead to feelings of frustration, resentment, and even burnout. Healthy relationships stand on mutual respect for personal needs and boundaries. When someone consistently overlooks these needs, it sends a clear message that your well-being is not a priority, and that can be incredibly hurtful. Think about your personal needs for a moment. These could be anything from needing time alone to recharge, requiring clear communication, seeking emotional support, or needing help with daily tasks. Boundaries, on the other hand, are the limits you set to protect these needs and your overall well-being. They define what is acceptable behavior and what isn't, ensuring that you feel safe and respected in your relationships. Addressing the consistent disregard for your needs and boundaries involves a few critical steps. First, you need to recognize and affirm your own needs. This means taking the time to reflect on what you require to feel happy, healthy, and respected. It's about understanding that your needs are valid and worthy of attention. Once you've identified these needs, the next step is to communicate them clearly to the other person. This isn't about making demands or issuing ultimatums, but rather about expressing your feelings and expectations in a calm and constructive manner. For example, you might say, "I need some quiet time in the evenings to unwind. It helps me manage my stress and feel more balanced. Can we work out a way to ensure I get this time?" Clear communication helps to set the stage for mutual understanding and respect. It allows the other person to know what you need and why it's important to you. However, if the other person continues to disregard your needs and boundaries despite your efforts to communicate them, it may be necessary to reconsider the dynamics of the relationship. This can be a difficult and painful decision, especially if you care deeply about the person involved. But prioritizing your personal well-being and moral integrity is crucial. You deserve to be in relationships that respect and honor who you are. Reconsidering a relationship's dynamics might mean setting firmer boundaries, limiting the time you spend with the person, or even ending the relationship if it's clear that your needs will never be respected. It's not about punishing the other person. It's about protecting yourself and ensuring that your relationships are supportive and fulfilling. Imagine trying to thrive in a garden where your plants are constantly trampled on and not given enough light or water. Eventually, those plants will wither. Your well-being is much the same. It needs proper care and respect to flourish. It's important to remember that setting boundaries and affirming your needs isn't selfish. It's an essential part of maintaining healthy relationships and a healthy self. When you stand up for your needs and boundaries, you're sending a powerful message that you value yourself and expect others to do the same. This can lead to stronger, more respectful relationships where both parties feel valued and understood. But what comes next? How do we wrap all of these insights together to ensure we're building the healthiest, most supportive relationships possible. Stay tuned, because in our conclusion, we'll summarize the key points we've discussed and provide some final thoughts on fostering positive, respectful relationships. As you reflect on this, visualize scenarios where someone's personal needs and boundaries are clearly communicated and respected, contrasted with scenes where these needs are consistently ignored. This contrast highlights the importance of mutual respect and sets the stage for our concluding discussion on cultivating healthy relationships. As we close this chapter, remember that Stoic wisdom talks Chanal isn't just ancient text. It's a living guide for navigating modern life. Thank you for joining us today. Share your thoughts in the comments, and if you found this video helpful, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. Your support helps us continue bringing valuable content. Thanks for watching, and see you next time.